Welcome back to the Wise Mindset Kaya podcast. I am your host, Nat Plastino, and I thank you once again for tuning into my show. Today we'll be talking about winning at the game of life, how to overcome challenges. Now, how do we overcome the constant challenges that come along our life's path? We usually focus on what we can do instead of what we cannot do. We all face obstacles in our lives, whether it's difficult job, intense relationship, or ambitious life goals. We face a choice. I want to say it again. It's extremely important to understand. We face a choice. We either let the challenge overcome us, or we find a way to overcome the challenge. There are many people that have disabilities, like having only one arm or leg, or not even being able to walk. But they still find ways to muster the courage to navigate through life and perform the same tasks as anyone else. So what's your excuse? It is the sense of mindset. I'm going to tell you that it's very important. It is a sense of mindset that drives us to the task's completion or not. The majority of the world are not willing to do the work that the highly successful people are eager to accomplish. Being successful is not an easy task. It is actually very complicated. We naturally would love to be in our comfort zone, sitting and relaxing, putting our feet up, streaming videos, or scrolling on our phones sounds much more appealing than working hard or exercising intensely. We need to get out our comfort zones in order to achieve what we truly want. The key is to have an idea of what you want to achieve. What do you want to achieve? And then afterwards, understand that that idea needs to be completely against what most people think. The world's great achievements were from people who looked outside of the box. When I say, for example, I get up at 5 a.m., most people respond by saying, "No way, I can't do that. I'd rather be sleeping." However, by getting up early, I am able to utilize my time to meditate, exercise, and reflect on my goals in silence without distractions. Remember, silence is golden. A perfect example, I would say, is the athlete Kobe Bryant, who was one of best basketball players in the world. He would get up at 4 a.m. every day to practice his skill set. His game plan was executed with great precision and focus, which compared massively to his peers who got up much later. This gave him a huge advantage. It is not only about talent, it is more about execution. By putting in the work, you can achieve success that most people only dream of. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about FOMO. Now, FOMO is FOMO, an acronym which means the fear of missing out. Most people are not willing to do the work because they put it, as they put it, it takes too much time. Human beings are too attached with instant gratification. Basically, the fear of missing out on having everything now instead of having to wait for it with patience. Having and wanting it all now is just not how it works. I have spoken to many 20-something adults who are upset and frustrated they don't already have the big house, fancy car, and ginormous bank account. They feel they are failures without it, when in actuality, it takes a tremendous amount of time and struggle to build success. It doesn't happen overnight. Ridicule can also be a huge hurdle in our success. I am sure when I preach these ideas on this podcast here, it is met with disbelief and laughter. But that's okay. I am comfortable in my own skin and know that what I am doing will make a difference in the long run. For every finger of judgment you point at someone, there are actually 3 fingers pointing back at you. I stopped trying to compare myself to others a long time ago. Comparison never served me any good in the past, So I don't bother with it in my current routine. Now, measuring ourselves to others can sometimes get us into trouble with our thoughts. We can be scrolling on our phones and see someone posting a video about driving their fancy expensive car down the road with great envy. We see they look very happy living the rich life and just want the same, and we just want the same thing, of course. Unfortunately, when we pull back the veil, it can actually reveal the unseen truth. What we don't see is the same people showcasing the rich life may actually be riddled in debt and overly stressed trying to pay for the material culture they desire. The Buddha has once said a very important quote: all life is suffering. But the way I look at it is, what we need to understand is that suffering is a choice. Comparison can be the root of this suffering, well, the root cause of this suffering. We only see the external view of being happy, whereas on the inside could be riddled with stress and depression. When we observe others' lifestyles, it can make us envious and then, of course, resentful at the same time. This is an illusion to happiness that we've created in our minds. The mental strain of working so hard to achieve these objects of material desire is not necessary and will not fulfill what we truly need. Understanding how different we are from others is actually a good thing. We start to understand this uniqueness as we get older, since when we are young, it is all about how we feel judged from our peers. Winning at the game of life means being true to who you are and what you are good at by doing a little better every day. There is no doubt that there are things we need to improve on to overcome challenges. But I say this with great love, it takes time and patience. When we sit and reflect on how to optimize our daily routine, then it will improve gradually, with effort, of course. It is not a race to the top. Slow down and enjoy the ride. Take a good look at where you are today and how incremental improvement can best serve you. Believe in yourself, because I believe you can. Remember, one step at a time, one day at a time, will lead to incredible results. Thanks for joining me on the Wise Mindset Guy podcast. If you like this episode, please share with a friend in need so they can also win at the game of life. And of course, if you like this episode, please hit subscribe. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Until next time, this is Nat Plastino signing off. We'll talk again later.